First, 2025 North Providence Town Council meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, due to time constraints, I'm going to take item number 16 first, resident-only parking. Councilman Laportio requests discussion and possible vote on resident-only parking at 2101 Mineral Spring Avenue with sign located at the corner of Brown Avenue. Councilman?
Thank you, Mr. President. The property is a mixed-use property. They have a business in which they live in the other side of the business as their home. And there's a difficult parking situation there because they're so close off Mineral Spring Avenue. And they have parking for their business on the side, which I believe is four spots now. One of them is taken up by a sunken water. I'm sorry. By one of the sewers. And so there's limited parking there. And it seems like the residents can't park on the street because they're being taken up. So they're just requesting that the parking be for the residents of that property, because they're all parking cars that are registered to different states and what have you, parking in that spot. So it would behoove us to at least acknowledge that. I believe someone's here to speak on that right now. Mr. Nazarian.
Guys, it's actually for my wife. She's sick in bed.
I know.
So she asked me to represent her.
That's okay. Can you just state your name for the record, please?
Sure, Harold Nazarian.
Okay, so I'm trying to set up it's at the corner of Brown and Mineral Spring Avenue.
It is, and she is for parking with a 4-car driveway.
Yeah.
That accommodates all her clients in and out. So they come in off Mineral Spring, they pull in there, they don't disrupt the neighborhood whatsoever. And we've been there 39 years now. We lived there for 39 years and she's had her practice there for 39 years. And now what's been happening more recently is more of the properties around us are being rented, and they're being rented to multiple people, and they don't have parking for them. So where she would put, her car and her receptionist car right along our fence on Brown Avenue and leave those 4 spots open so everybody would come in, go out, no issue. She's got cars there all the time, so they have nowhere, to park, and now it's causing more of an issue in trying to keep it quiet for the neighborhood. It's been that way for 39 years. We haven't had an issue, but as I said, more and more of the properties are being rented and they're not providing parking spots. And so we've got people coming in, from everywhere, as you said, out-of-state plates. And to complicate matters, the storm drain is collapsing at the base of the driveway. And we're waiting for the town to redo the storm drain because it's got a sinkhole. And I've asked them to put a barrel there because otherwise someone's going to drive and it's going to give all at once, and you're going to have a car going down in and have a major issue for the town with the damaged car. So we're trying to manage everything as well as we can, and we keep the property up, try to keep the whole area looking nice. So she's getting frustrated, after all these years, that now to have, this issue with it, and she wants to keep it good for everybody in the area.
Okay, so you're just looking for up to your property line, having a spot for resident parking, correct?
Exactly, along that fence, so we can park, they should continue to park the 2 cars, when the office is open, when she's, seeing clients. And other than that, our cars are in the driveway anyway, and, I am not home very much anyway. So
Okay.
It's more her car and the issue, and she's trying to just keep it neat for everybody.
Sure. Okay.
Nothing. I was just going to say that this is a perfect thing that we can address in the ordinance committee. So I'll make a motion that we refer this matter to the ordinance committee to see if we can get the appropriate signage and ordinance to address the situation.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
Okay,
Thank you for coming out.
Thank you.
And on behalf of my wife, thank you very much.
I hope she's feeling better.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 5, Kleti Farm property. Mayor Lombardi requests discussion and possible vote on the current design proposal from Rad Sports for Kleti multi-use field as attached.
Aye.
Mayor?
Mr. Chairman, members of the council, thank you. As you know, we've been talking about this property for quite some time. There were a number of changes that have been made. And just wanted to discuss it with you before we jeopardize some of the funding. I know you have a final design. I thought the changes that have been made were changes that this council wished. So just want to see where we're going.
If I may.
Councilman?
So thank you, Mayor. I know we have a lot of members from the area here tonight, and you've been diligent in coming to these meetings while we were hearing what your concerns were and working on them with the mayor. Looking at the, first of all, I know that there was some concern anyway that when this was advertised, it was written as multi-use field, which kind of raised some concerns about were we going backwards. But I think the rendering that the mayor has provided shows that this is in line with what we had always been talking about, which would be a smaller footprint and smaller impact for the neighborhood. So I think this is representing what the neighborhood was more so in favor of rather than some sort of soccer field or athletic complex. So I'm excited to see that. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, is there any questions on the Kleti Farm property? Just come to the microphone, please.
Hello,
Just state your name
Michael
for the,
Porter,
thank you.
6 Hamlin Street. First of all, thank you very much, and thank you, Mayor, for putting this together and listening to us. There's still some other concerns out here. I know Linda's here to talk about her issues, but first of all, is the pickleball court and the tennis court, is that those needed to hold the grant? Is that satisfying the grant?
I believe so.
Hmm?
I believe so.
I think that's a question for the mayor. I'm not 100% sure on that because I know that there are certain parameters that the field needs to be in order to, the question, Mayor, was about the pickleball courts and the tennis courts and whether or not both were necessary in order to secure the grant funds.
I think the reason why they were put into this, it was because of the request of, I thought it was some of us in the council and some of the neighbors at that time. And the company that we deal with, Rad Sports, you know, they're very, very well respected and known for this type of development. So to that, I'd have to say yes.
So having those two courts, be able to take advantage of the, what's it, $500,000 grant or whatever?
We have, right now, I'll tell you in a second, I just jotted some numbers down. We have, $400,000 from DEM, and they've extended, that grant in time because of some of the changes that we have made based on some of the wants and needs of the residents.
Having those fields, those athletic fields satisfies the grant.
No, those, by the way, athletic fields that are put into this proposal were put there based on some of the requests. Not
I
me,
think,
I don't think.
Mayor, if I
Yes.
may, I think the confusion is you're asking for the pickleball courts and the tennis courts, do we have to include them to have access to this grant money, correct? I don't think that's, I think that's something the grant writer for the town would have to answer.
I don't remember that it was sports related, that grant was.
Yeah.
It probably is, but we'll get you,
Yeah.
we'll get you an exact answer.
That was a, if I may just, excuse me, that was a change from the original design and then the second design because of some of the requests. I don't know that if they were removed, that we would lose any funding. I can't answer that.
That's my
Right, but I think, again, we just tried to put this together to satisfy most of the requests.
Can I ask,
Go ahead.
Okay,
okay, in regards to the lighting, in the parking lot and stuff, there won't be any big lighting, fixtures or anything?
And I think that was addressed also, that the lighting that would be, the lighting would face in to the parking lot so that it wouldn't, affect any, of the neighbors, the design that's on this plan. Because I know that was a concern too, that the lighting, and what time the lighting would be shutting off at night.
The only lighting I think I saw in that was the little lampposts.
What-
Not big overhead lights.
Whatever lighting is on this diagram, by the way, is lighting that was proposed to satisfy the requests of the neighbors. So let me ask you, what would you like to see there? No lighting at all.
Those big ones. The light posts that you have in there, okay, I can understand.
So whatever's on here that you saw, you're okay with?
I am, yes.
Okay, well, there's other neighbors here also. It's just a matter of at night for the safety, we just,
Comes to the pickleball court. In regards to the Slater Mill residents of Pawtucket, they had an issue with that because of the ball hitting the ground and being hard and noisy. So what I request is some sort of a soundproofing in that fence around it, because we do have quite a bit of houses basically right across the street from it. I know one of them in particular has two babies in there.
does anybody have any questions for Mr. Porter? Okay, thank you, sir. Would anyone else like to speak on Kleti Farm?
Thank you, Mayor.
Just state your name for the record, please.
Hi, Kathy Lanning.
Hi, Kathy.
I think it might be best, I think I'd like to ask if you guys would refrain from voting on this tonight for a couple of reasons. I certainly don't want to delay this. I don't feel like we have. I feel like we've tried to be as proactive as possible with feedback on this. You know, meetings, attending meetings, taking lots of notes, sending lots of PowerPoints and emails to everybody, to which we've never received a response. But this is the first time I'm seeing this. It did say that it was attached to the agenda online, but it was not. So we weren't able to see this design before just now. It does look an awful lot like the design that was shared with us back in September of last year. After which we gave feedback, and I had sent you guys some revised documentation. I actually had a really good meeting with the mayor on October 11th to talk through the feedback, because we weren't able to have a dedicated meeting to go through it. So I met one-on-one with the mayor to bring forward some of the feedback. And then I sent an email to all of you on December 2nd with all of that feedback. And if you look at that again, you'll see that that looks pretty different than this latest design that's here. So I think the point is, there are some questions still, some things maybe we need to work through. So if we could have that dedicated meeting potentially soon, maybe have Rad Sports there, all the key players, so maybe we could finally put a rest to this, because I know everybody wants to move forward. But really, we haven't heard anything since last October. This is the first time we're hearing it, and I I feel like if you go ahead and just vote on this tonight, then everything that we've done over the past year to give feedback and to try to make this work for everyone is just a potential waste of time. So, I would ask that you not vote on it tonight, and maybe we have a dedicated meeting to kind of put this all to rest once and for all. I think we're closer. I think everybody wants to do the right thing. Like I said, I had a great discussion with the mayor and leaving that meeting, I thought the next step was for Rad to rework the design from that to something a little bit, smaller footprint, which we had asked for. So,
So if I can ask you a question.
Yeah.
What you see there, you're okay with the concept and the design, you just want it small, you would prefer it smaller? What
Well, the
changes,
concept
not to
of
get,
design
not
wa-
to get deep into the woods, but if you had a couple of changes, what stands out to you that you would change?
so I think what we all last talked about was putting a playground at Coletti with a small parking lot. And at Pate Farm, putting pickleball courts in a small parking lot. Because Ivan Street already has a playground, so we figured put the playground at Coletti, that would be a smaller footprint, a lot less noise and traffic for the
Your
residents.
playground there? Or
There
no?
is, but there's also tennis and pickleball courts, and the entrance, we had suggested the entrance go on Hamlin Street across from that, directly across from that lot that's not built up. It's just a bunch of trees. So it wouldn't, no cars would be coming out in front of anybody's house where, you know, kids might be outside or something like that. There's an empty lot next to the Porters actually on Hamlin Street. So we thought that might be a good place for the entrance and exit to be the least. So stuff like that, we had given feedback on that we don't necessarily have to rehash tonight, but if we could have that dedicated meeting, maybe we could just iron out these last few things and move forward. I know everybody's itching to do that. It's good to hear the grants got extended. We didn't know. We thought we were losing the grants, which we thought was okay because this project's going to come in much smaller than the 5.2 estimated, right, for the multi-use field. But I think that might be the most responsible thing to do. And again, just to move this forward.
Does anybody have any other questions? Just come to the mic. You have to come to the microphone.
My name's June Masterson. I live at 37 Lewis Street. And my questions is regarding the hours the park will be open, and particularly in reference to the lighting. Like if you're going to have lighting there so people can use the pickleball and tennis courts, like when do the lights go out? You know, I don't hear any specifics about that.
When would you like them to go out?
Wouldn't want to know because I get up early and I go to bed early.
Was a,
so-
is a reasonable time
you-
8:39?
Oh, I think that's a little late. We have children in the neighborhood that abut those pickleball courts and tennis courts. There's some young children on that side of the street. And, I do know that, that sound's gonna vibrate. And, it's a little girl. I think she's like 3 or 4 years old and her brother's like 7 or 8. And usually one of the parents is here at the meeting, but he must not have been able to make it tonight.
I think he's raising his hand.
There you are. Are you concerned about that?
Well, he's gonna come up to the microphone.
Okay. So, I was concerned, I would like a little more specifics. I see the park, I'm very into the walking path because, I find it very difficult to walk in the town. The roads are bumpy. I fell and broke my elbow a few years ago walking on Angel Road. And so I'm looking forward to having a dedicated walking path. That I'm really happy about.
Councilman Famagetti has a question for you.
So one thing, and this goes back a couple meetings, right? One thing that we brought up is about collaboration, and that's why this is what it is right now.
Yeah.
So I think, not to say that, just to drive forward with this and whatnot, but we're obviously willing to work with the neighborhood, and we can impose any restrictions that we would find necessary over there. So that's something that you and I, Councilman Pollock, as an entire body, we can talk about, and we can impose different time restrictions by ordinance as they may be necessary. So bottom line is, I hear what your concern is, and then I have no problem working with you and the rest of the
I
neighbors on
don't
that.
have any preset notion in my mind. It's just something that I think should be discussed and see what, most people would prefer.
Right.
You know, and I know like Naughty Park has the tennis courts and all, but that's a little more, like, that's right on the road there. It's not set back toward the neighborhoods where this abuts the back of my neighbor, like across the street from me. Those are all the people that live across the street from me, where all the action's gonna be. So,
But is there a way that you can give us something that you deem reasonable about that time? So give us something to
I'm
work
more
with.
concerned about the man with the children. I think he's the one who should address that issue. Like, I'm at least across the street, but I don't know how that's gonna impact me, you know, because I'm not really familiar with pickleball all that much. I have friends that play, but I've never been around it to hear or so forth.
All right, all right.
It's just a concern of mine, the lighting and, you know, the noise factor later in the evening and also early in the morning.
Councilman
I don't
Pollock
know
has a question for you.
Well, I think we all could agree with, and I'm new up here, but I'm not new to sitting in on the meetings, that we've come a long way from the initial concept.
Mm.
And I think, you know, these minor details can be worked out, and we do
Right.
want to thank the mayor for getting the extension on this.
Well, I agree with that. It can be worked out, but I haven't heard anything in reference to those
That's why we're here.
items, so that's
That's
why
why we're here.
I'm waiting to hear like what the town has in mind. Okay, that's basically it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Come up to the microphone, please.
I don't.
Hello, Santiago Restrepo. So I live in Lewis Street, right behind the tennis courts. So yeah, like a time limit will be fine because I do put my, especially my little one, to bed like around 8:30. But I mean, I'm not the only one that's concerned on the noise. I'm just giving an idea. I think what we were mentioning is probably just maybe a buffer, a little buffer between the courts and the houses will help. And I think the neighbors didn't really request like the tennis courts, but they're fine. I think like we just probably need some minor details, you know, like changes to maybe, I guess, a smaller footprint. I guess that's what they were trying to say with the courts, maybe a few less courts, maybe, I don't know. But I mean, it's fine. The changes are getting better. The project is moving into like a more acceptable for the neighbors. But yeah, I just maybe a buffer zone between the tennis courts. I think the concern is the noise. Probably just for resale value too, you know, who wants to live next to people playing next to your house, especially at nighttime, but a little buffer between the houses, yeah. But yeah, just regarding the time, like probably I think most of the kids will go to bed around 8:30, 9 o'clock, so.
Thank you.
That's good.
Anyone else on Kleti? I'm gonna let her go first, sir. That's okay. You can go next. Hello.
Kayla Barrows, 20 Only Street. So I never seen this. My biggest concern was where the lot was gonna go, because it was directly in front of my house.
I can't.
Can you see Chuck? Where she pointed?
It's not directly in front of the house, but if it can be moved just slightly, just because my concern is her. But other than that, I think I'm good. So if that opening can just either face the other way,
I'm confused the way she's.
what? Yeah, off Hamlin and only. Good.
Any questions? All right, thank you.
Larry Feeney at 69 Verde Street. I can't speak for everyone in the neighborhood, but I think the last thing we need is another tennis court. We have one down in Casey Field, not how much use it gets, but that's real close. So if it's a possibility in this replant thing was to eliminate the tennis court, because I don't think we need another one that close. We have one in Casey Field. Pickleball court, I think there's one in Stephen Oldie, which I guess is okay. But the big concern is, once this is voted on, when will this be done? Because right now it's a quarry. I don't know if anybody's gone over there. It's a quarry. So I mean, I know they're taking dirt in and out of Whalen and Greystone, but when's that going to end whereby whatever is voted on, and when's that going to actually happen? Because this started back in November, December 2023, when the town hired Northeast Trees to clear cut it, and that looked like a war zone for a while. But I mean, just trying to get an idea of like when a vote is taken, when will this actually happen? Is there still more stuff to be taken out of the farm as far as dirt for the schools? Is that done now? Is what's there is there? It's a quarry. It's like, I can't believe it.
Does anybody have any questions?
And another thing, I suggested, well, I said, is this soil been tested? I think, one of the last time it was. I think someone said, well, check it out, but never heard it. Was the soil ever tested from coming out of Whalen and Greystone? We don't know now it's all going back and forth, so many times. So, I mean,
We'll try and get you that information about the soil. And if when this is voted on, a start date, I do share your concern and I
because
understand.
it's gone on too long. It's just like, is it going to happen this year? It's going to be in the fall. We can, plan on whatever's going to be there or not. I mean, how much longer they could be taking dirt in and out of Whalen and Greystone? I mean, are they taking it somewhere else besides the schools or? And they had to just redo somewhat Hamlin Street because of the many trucks over there. They just crushed the road to pieces.
Okay, we'll get you that information.
Thank you.
Is there any other people that would like to speak on this?
Hi, Dave Seifert, 32 Lewis. The design's good, everything, but number 7, the pickleball courts on the lower left. It's 32 Lewis. Literally, we're on the deck, you're the pickleball court. It's way too close. Do we need 6 of them? I mean, is it really that necessary? What they were saying, he was saying before, a buffer there would be great. And because that's right on the property line. If that's cement, again, everybody's having trouble with water. Where's that water going? Now it's all coming into the yard. There's got to be something else there. Other than that, I mean, everything else looks good.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Okay.
Evening, Stephen Kleti, 61 Elena Street. Just a couple of kind of comments, and actually to go in line with the last gentleman. When you look at the way that this design is, and I will say, I think everybody appreciates the conversation, the redesign. I think the idea is great. But if we're voting on this tonight or whenever, if we're looking at it strictly for what we're seeing right now, the property lines don't match up to where the lines are on this map. So like the actual plat map should be overlaid to this to see where it lands. So if you look in the top left-hand corner, what appears to be a fence line for this park, that the second house in from the top left, see how there's a cut down in there? That's the property line for those first 3 houses. So on this map, there's some of this park that sits in someone's property. And then down in the right-hand corner, off of Elena Street, like the cemetery is not marked on here exactly where that is. And that actually is my only concern with the plan, is that that playground and the surrounding kind of trees in that area, they don't quite match where the cemetery is. And if we're putting a playground where we're going to invite lots of children and lots of folks there, how are we going to protect that cemetery and what does that look like? Because it's very likely people from the playground are going to leak over in there, headstones, that whole thing. So, those are my comments.
Thank you. Any other comments? No. Okay, any other questions from the council?
Just a quick question for the mayor. When, how long is the extension for the grant?
I think we have, I want to say it's about 6 months left.
6 months left?
And as far as I can answer a couple of questions, the cleanup there, we're just trying to work along with the school construction. But I can tell you this, then they would have had to find another place for that fill had we collectively selected a design and as to what what this property would become, because it would have been in the middle of construction by now. Just to let you know, the people on Hamlin Street, yeah, street is going to be repaired soon, if they're not already in there, with just a quick fix to clean it up. And, some of the suggestions or the concerns, not suggestions that have been made, I can only tell you this, Mr. Chairman, members of the council, we will not, be constructing on anyone's property. The lot lines will be rechecked. And some of the other concerns that, we collectively feel, should be addressed, some of the changes then. I mean, we've made a number of changes at the suggestion of some of the neighbors, as you just heard. But if there are a few more, I wouldn't delay it too much longer. That's why I wanted to come here tonight. I think the grant people are kind of tired of us right now. So if we're gonna make any just 1 second, Ron. If we're gonna make any changes, I would move on it.
6 months to put a shovel in the ground or 6 months to, obviously it can't be to completion because we're not.
No, no,
we're
no,
not
no,
gonna
no.
snap no
No,
fingers,
six months
Put a
before
shovel.
they tell us, they're gonna give the money to someone else.
Okay, but if we start putting it in 3 to 4 months, we put shovels in the
I
ground.
think
then
so,
we-
yes.
Okay.
And I think we need to, we need to move on it.
Mario, you have a question, then Chuck.
Yeah, and I apologize for being late. I got stuck at work, but this may have been addressed. Do we have a new cost estimate for this, Mayor? And I know that we have grants, but the grants, as I remember them, involve matching dollars, so, or set to some degree. And I know, with the uncertainty of a lot of different things, we're gonna be fighting for every dollar that we have. So, what's the cost? How are we gonna pay for it? What's going on with that?
We have the money right now, roughly about 5.2, as Ms. Lanny stated. I wouldn't wait too much longer, Mario, because as you know, costs are escalating daily. So we do have the money for this particular drawing here. Depending what the changes will be, any more changes will be, then we'll have to talk with Rad again to see how much it's changed as far as the cost.
But this, the ARPA money was allocated somewhere else, so this is money.
No, some of the APRA monies with this also.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, yes.
Oh, okay.
And also, I think there's some of the changes down at Ritchie School. Some of the changes, I think, was at Ritchie School too. Yeah.
Chuck, do you have a question? Councilman Pollock?
Yeah, if we're gonna continue this, instead of tying this up at our full council meeting next month, maybe just a thought is have a special meeting just prior and see if we can get the players involved, maybe Rad in here and the mayor and whoever else we need, and just finally come to some type of resolution and we can.
But that's what Stefano and I were just talking about. So we will schedule a special meeting on this within the next 2 weeks. And at that meeting, I will be requesting that there is a vote. Because I will say that this project's come a long way. I mean, everything that's on here was a suggestion from a neighbor. So I thank, everyone for their patience. I thank Mayor, you for taking all the testimony into consideration and the council, for hearing everyone out. But we have to come to a conclusion on this project at some point. And I don't think everyone's wants and needs will be fulfilled, but we're trying. So I am going to schedule a special meeting for 2 weeks from tonight.
15?
No, we can't do that. That's,
Tax day.
we got an accountant up here. We can't do that.
Yeah, this is.
That's the 15th. This April 17th. Does that work for everyone?
Works for me.
And we'll, Mr. Chairman, members of council, will call Rad.
Thank
and
you.
Ask them to be here.
Thank you. Okay, so April 17th. 6 o'clock. At 6 o'clock. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Motion has been made by Councilman Famagetti, seconded by Councilman Pollock. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.
You said 16,
17.
17 to 6 o'clock.
Huh?
17 to 6 o'clock.
No, 16th of November.
Yeah. Okay, while we're on Kleti, I'll go to item number 6, development of former Kleti Farm, Linda Vada, resident of 16 Only Street, request to be heard regarding noise and dirt piles in her neighborhood for too long. Is Ms. Vada here?
Just answer those.
Pretty much.
Not really used to speaking in public, so
That's okay.
bear with me. As you can see, well, I can see me now. I wanted to see the
Can they put that?
the proposal.
Want the,
I wanted to mention that this project has been going on quite a while, as you well know. I would like to know when the digging and the mountains are gonna be gone, because the view from my house, which is directly across the street from Kleti Farm,
It's back.
is very depressing. I mean, right now, some of you have seen it. I'm tired of looking at it, but I'm more concerned about some of the things that are gonna be right on Olney Street, directly across the street from my home. And I'm concerned about a pickleball field that I could literally throw a ball at and hit somebody. And this town has so little area for people to just take a walk on the streets, because Middle Spring Avenue is the only road street you can walk on. All the other streets are full of trash and broken up. But my main concern is, when is it gonna end? When is one of these mountains gonna be removed? When are we gonna start building? And can we get the pickleball field somewhere else? I know, I dread the thought of summer coming and listening to the sounds of pickleball game.
Thank you very much.
So it has
We have a meeting on this in 2 weeks. All right, so we will definitely include that. Okay. Item number 7, outdoor dining license. Town council to consider the approval of an outdoor dining license for Hyde Park Ventures DBA Five Guys Burgers and Fries. Can I have anyone here from Five Guys?
They didn't bring any sample?
State your name for the record, please.
Hi, my name's Tammy McGrady.
Thank you. Any questions for Five Guys? Is there anyone here from the neighborhood to speak on this outdoor dining license? Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Motion's been made by Councilman Famagetti. Is there a
Second.
seconded by Councilman Laportio? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Thank you for coming in. Item number 8, resolution 25-003, town council to consider the approval of resolution 25-003 concerning opposition to Rhode Island 2025 gun control legislation. Is there any questions on resolution 25-003?
No, I can make a statement if you'd
Councilman
like.
Famagetti, please.
As you all know, this present resolution, which is before you, would express our opposition to the proposed firearm ban that's being heard at the State House. Reflecting upon this issue, hearing from constituents and seeing the mass of people attend a hearing at the State House in opposition to this legislation reminds me that we need to be cognizant of the oaths that we took to abide by the Constitution of our state as well as the Constitution of the United States. Thus, we must recognize that such legislation is incompatible with the Second Amendment of our Constitution, as well as the United States Constitution and the state's Constitution, which memorializes the right to keep and bear arms. It would be easy for us to just ignore this, but I believe it's incumbent upon us to stand up for the rights of individuals when they are challenged. And this is especially true when there's a specific constitutionally codified right that's being significantly restricted by a proposed bill, and one that would impact the rights of safe and lawful gun owners in North Providence. This hastily proposed law presents serious constitutional questions and issues. It would open up our state to numerous lawsuits and cause an infringement upon the rights of our own constituents in the interim. Whether our constituents who are affected by these rights are in the minority or the majority, they deserve to have their elected officials hear them out and stand up for them. As such, I would urge my colleagues here to pass the resolution and send the same to our state leaders as a plea to stop this legislation and find solutions that truly address the issues to be remedied and balance the interests of law-abiding citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Any questions for Councilman Famagetti? Okay, do I have a motion to approve Resolution 25-003?
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made by Councilman Famagetti, that was seconded by Councilman Martone. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 9, Resolution 25-004. Town Council to consider the approval of Resolution 25-004 to be sent to the General Assembly concerning a Class M license for Dominic's Place at 1441 Mineral Spring Avenue. Is anyone here from Dominic's Place? Just state your name for the record. Thank you. Jessica reached out to me because she is moving her business. And Councilman Martone, since this is your area of expertise, we would pass a resolution here at the at the council. She then has to go to the General Assembly because it's going to be close to a church and school. So you want to explain to her like how that works?
Yeah, so there is a state law that prohibits any municipality from even hearing a license application if the license is proposed to be within 200 feet of a church or a school. So the problem is, even if you were to apply to us, we can't even have a hearing on it because we don't have any jurisdiction. What you can do, which is what I think is being done right now, is you can apply to the General Assembly for an exemption from that particular law, which would allow you to then apply to transfer the license to that location. Typically, in my experience, the General Assembly usually likes to hear from the local council or licensing board, whether they're in approval or not in approval. So in your case, you've run a great business. I think we're all in approval that we have no problem with you getting a license in that location. But there has to be an exemption first.
Yeah.
Once there's an exemption, then you can apply.
Wonderful. I will do so.
So can we pass this resolution now? Send that, because I know if one of our representatives that's going to support, that would put this in, he's going to ask right away for a resolution.
Yeah, so is the legislation, has that not been submitted yet?
She called today, and they actually called me because there was some confusion on how it works. And I said I would talk because I'm not a,
Yeah, so I think we can pass this resolution to be submitted when the state legislation goes in.
okay. Does anybody have any questions? Do you have any questions for us?
I don't.
And you spoke with the church?
I did.
Okay,
There are no problem there,
okay. All right.
How far away are you?
right next door.
Oh, you're right next door to the
I am.
church.
And what I can tell you also, just from experience, whether the church likes it or not,
Yes.
they don't have any ability to waive this provision. So
Yep.
even if the church is in approval, it doesn't matter.
Once it goes through the General Assembly, it kind of sticks, correct?
And it goes with the land.
Yes.
So it's not specifically for you, it's for that
land.
piece of property.
Perfect.
Thank you for explaining that, clarifying that.
Yes.
Any other questions? Okay, do I have a motion to approve Resolution 25-004?
So moved.
Second. Motion been made by Councilman Famagetti, seconded by Councilman Laportio. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Good luck
Thank
with
you so
everything.
much.
Let us know if you need any help. Okay, item number 10, number of liquor licenses. Discussion and possible vote on adding to the number of BV full liquor licenses by taking from a different category. I did this about 3 years ago, and I'm looking to add 2 more full BV liquor licenses to our total number. The problem we continue to run into is as businesses want to come to the town and open up, we continue to have a waiting list for licenses, for liquor licenses. Right now, we have specifically 2 or 3 licenses, businesses that are operating that can't get a liquor license. And I just feel as though we need to give them a chance to succeed while they're open and not wait. So what we did last time was we took 2 club licenses and through the ordinance committee converted them into 2 full BV licenses. Is that how you suggest we do that?
Yes, so I would ask for a motion to do the same for further matters of ordinance committee for discussion and possible conversion.
Okay, is there a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Motion's been made by Councilman Bacala, seconded by Councilman Di Lorenzo. Any questions on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
President, can I make a second motion?
Yep.
So my motion would be for the ordinance committee to also consider establishing an ordinance with regard to the rules of the waiting list. I think
Thank
that
you.
might solve some of
Second.
our problems.
That is what I was getting at. Thank you. I appreciate that because, and again, actually the Breeze called and asked me about this. The issue we run into is if you and I walk into town hall at the same time, I don't mean to point at
Yeah, no,
you,
you're good.
Councilman Bacala, but you're
Good.
my vision. And you pick up a packet first and I pick up a packet second, but you're a year away from opening and I'm already open, you get the license, I don't. It's just, we have to fix that. So,
Should there be a time frame on the motion that Mario just made, make it a time frame?
No, we can discuss that in the committee to figure that out. So it'll go there and we'll hammer it all out.
thank you. Okay, Shane, did you have a question?
Good evening, Shane Piche. I just want to say a couple of things. One, on a previous matter, I want to thank you for what you guys did tonight for your constituency. It was a great move in that resolution at number 8. This also, I appreciate you guys taking a look at this. And I'd also like to make a suggestion while it's in committee that we don't necessarily worry so much about numbers as in how many. I just think if people meet certain qualifications and we look at it from a zoning standpoint of where we would want these types of businesses, obviously we've run into problems where when they're in a residential area, it causes an issue. But if we're in a commercial area, I think it's important that we, continue to grow our business community for the town. I think it's a huge bump to the economy. And I think businesses, whether they're food or in this case, talking liquor, that revenue that comes to the town, it's 1% to the bottom line for everything that business does. And I think that we shouldn't be in a position to not be appealing to larger businesses. For instance, if a chain wanted to come in on Middle Spring Avenue, are we really going to tell a TGI Fridays you can't move in because we don't have a liquor license available when they could take a viable space that's being taken up? So I just want to thank you guys for bringing this to the forefront and consider eliminating the idea of a number, because I think inherently that creates corruption because now you're creating a fake value to something. I think that it should be available based on, does the location meet certain requirements and is it in a particular area? And then does the business meet the requirements that are, put out by the town and the state? So I just wanted to make that comment. Thank you, guys.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 11, town council meetings for July 2025. Council President Odhiello requests discussion and possible vote with regard to the dates of the remaining regularly scheduled monthly town council meetings for calendar year 2025 and possible amendment and changes to those dates. I put this on the agenda every year to postpone the July meeting since it always falls on right after the 4th of July and nobody comes. Not you guys, I'm talking about the audience. So is there a motion to postpone the July meeting?
So moved.
Motion been made by Councilman Laporte, seconded by Councilman Bacala. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 12, littering on properties. Councilman Famagetti requests discussion and possible vote on littering on properties located at 1005 Mineral Spring Avenue and 1036 Mineral Spring Avenue. Councilman?
So we've gotten a couple of complaints, just that the dumpsters are out there, trash is overflowing, trash is on the properties. So we could just have our clerk send a letter to each of these properties advising them of their obligations to continue to maintain the properties and make sure that there is no litter on the ground there. So that's in a form of motion.
Okay, motion's been made by Councilman Famagetti. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Pollock. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 13, Packet Avenue. Councilman Martone requests discussion and possible vote on Packet Avenue parking issues. Councilman?
Yes, thank you. I received an email from a constituent with regard to parking issues on Packard Ave. I would just ask that I would move that we send this to the ordinance committee for potential resolutions.
Okay, motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Laporte. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 14, lighting issues. Councilman Martone requests discussion and possible vote on lighting issues on Jeffries and Wentworth Street. Councilman?
Thank you. So I received a call from a constituent that lives in that area. If you guys aren't familiar, if you're coming up Lexington and then where Tiffany Street is, you kind of go down to the bottom. Down the bottom, that's where Wentworth and Jeffers meet. Yes, which is, I was surprised. I didn't get a call about flooding. I got a call about lighting. So, and I have been by that area. So it's particularly dark at that intersection. The constituent suggested that it would be helpful if there was a new light put in at on an additional light pole in that area. I have not dealt with this issue, so I'm not sure. I guess I'd be looking for guidance from anybody else. If that's something we should refer to the ordinance, if that's something we should reach out to Ralph about. I'm not sure. Oh, Ralph's here.
They want to add an actual like pole with a light?
No, there's a pole there. They want to see if they can put a light on it.
I've removed that in the past, we added a pole light at number 1, Jeffries, right in front of the
Yep.
There's only one pole left that doesn't have a light. The only reason why we originally didn't put one there was because the next closest light is only about 40 feet away, 50 feet away, and it seemed like it had enough light. Every other street light on Jeffries able to pass.
Okay. So maybe what I could do is Ralph, it's all right with you if I can put the constituent in communication with you, and then maybe we can meet and just talk about it?
Yeah, I can reach out.
Perfect.
To add a street light, we were looking at about $1,100 to $1,200 to add it.
Okay.
It's the only pole, there's only one pole down there.
All right. All right, so maybe it makes sense. So thank you. I guess we don't have to take any action on this. I'll reach out to Ralph and we'll schedule a meeting.
All right, thank you. Item number 15, resident-only parking. Councilman Laporte. No, we did 16.
No.
Councilman Laporte requests discussion and possible vote on resident-only parking on 57 East Avenue. Councilman?
Thank you. Yes, I received several emails from a woman that lives at 57 East Avenue. And it seems that there is a business that's on Smith Street. This home is a few houses in from that, where the business is taking up all the parking on the street well into the evening. I don't know if she's here or not. So she is. Rhonda? Come on up. Thank you.
Everybody. I'm Rhonda Salome. My aunt, I own the house with my aunt and my dad. He just recently passed away in January, but she's 89 and there are some nights I can't even get her in the house if I take her home because they park all along East Avenue and around to Lincoln.
And
I
which
have-
business is it? I'm sorry.
What?
The name of the business?
There's the gaming in my phone.
Maybe I could find it on here. Yeah. Rescue Gaming?
Rescue.
Rescue Gaming?
That's on Smith Street, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's in that plaza.
Old Eastern Paint.
Yes.
yeah,
correct.
the old Easton Pink.
Yep.
So they just park all along and I've talked to the police department. They've gone to the gaming and they've asked them a couple of times and there's been no it gets good for a little bit and then they just come back.
Okay. what I'd like to do is, make a motion to send this to ordinance, pretty much what we did in the prior one, so that we can have the proper signage made up for
Second.
that.
Okay, motion's been made by Councilman Laportio, seconded by Councilman Famagetti. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you, Rhonda.
Thank you. Item number 17, Our Lady of Fatima Hospital, discussion and possible vote on the sale of Our Lady of Fatima Hospital. Obviously, this is our usual monthly update. I know everyone's seen the news, what's going on. Unless anyone has anything new to report, I will move on from this item. Mayor, did you want to speak on?
Just to bring everyone up to date as to what's been happening, who we've talked with, Council President and I will be attending a very, very important meeting on Thursday at noontime at Rybeck. It's becoming a little challenging, so to say, to make sure that both our town residents and the city of Providence residents are made whole. Because our position is that the taxpayers here or the taxpayers in Providence that shouldn't we have to fund the operations of Fatima and Roger Williams. So we've talked with probably 13 people in the last 4 days, as far as all the board members at Rybeck. And, you know, they tell you that, well, we really don't have the authority to make sure that the communities are protected. And basically what we're telling them, we don't want to hear that. And I think they force you to probably want to say, just close the hospital. We need health facilities. We're not that foolish to make that statement, but I think, let me just wrap this up. And I want to tell you, all the people I spoke to tell you that we're going to do whatever we can to make sure that any agreement includes the taxpayers of this town. We talk about the pilot program. There was a pilot program prior to this for-profit institution coming in. And when they first came in, we held them for the first 2 years to the pilot number and increased it every year because I didn't want to force them to failure. They owe us, by the way, this past year's taxes. They were going on tax sale. So we're owed that, number one. Number two, we want to make sure we're protected for this next year because even if we're added into I was explaining to the council president, even if we're added into the new pilot program, that doesn't take effect until the 27 budget. So now we're short next year. We're trying to put this budget together. I'm just waiting for the Thursday meeting, but you know, we may have a problem. But again, you should know what's going on. We'll be there Thursday, and myself and the president or anyone else that'd like to attend that meeting, just give us a call, I'll tell you where it is. Well, and you'll hear it, but we're gonna be on record as to where we feel, how we'd like this to be, so our people are protected.
Thank you. Let me just reiterate again how important this is for the town. I've been on this council for 15 years. Fatima was a nonprofit hospital. I was here when they went to for-profit. When they were nonprofit, they were part of a pilot program. The state, it was payment in lieu of taxes. The state paid us basically to host Fatima in this community. When they went to for-profit, we negotiated a 10-year tax stabilization agreement. And as that tax stabilization agreement is ending, they're on the verge of bankruptcy. So now Fatima is going to go back to a nonprofit hospital. However, there's a lot of questions about the pilot program. And as you all know, that is a crucial part of the tax base of this town. So I think it's very important that everyone keeps an eye on this. So, Councilman Pollak first.
Mayor, I have one question. Aside of what you're looking to do moving, now forward, You said they owe back taxes. Are we allowed to lien their property?
Here's the problem. We couldn't put them on the tax sale because of the court procedure. They filed for bankruptcy. So today, actually just today, we were told, you gotta take them off the tax sale. I said, what? So when Ryback is gonna make, just a minute, Mr. President, when Ryback has to make a decision to fund the operations of this new nonprofit for 160 million, by the way, what we're saying is make it 170 and protect the town, the city. So we'll see what happens on Thursday.
Councilman Martone?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say, I read the letter that we received. I was incredibly disappointed by it. I'm getting very tired of being told that there's nothing that people can do. I read article after article about the Attorney General approving a sale with 90-something conditions. And
Not one.
not one was to protect the taxpayers of North Providence or the taxpayers of Providence. They're in the same boat. And unfortunately, it's putting us in a very difficult position. And I'm also tired of hearing how critical Fatima and Roger Williams are to the state healthcare system. I agree, they are. And if they are, what I expect is that the state to pitch in and help. And I would hope that that's the resolution that we receive here, because it's not fair. It's not fair to North Providence. It's not fair to Providence. And I'm getting very tired of a lot of our state agencies, and, you know, we've had our problems with other state agencies.
And we'll fill you in. We've spoken, every one of them. Every one of them, we all have the same friends there.
And like the mayor said, we're talking about over $100 million transaction. That the taxes to North Providence, I think, were 1.8. You know, not to say that that's insignificant, but how hard is it to make us whole?
That's over $1 on the tax rate.
Thank
It's
you.
that our taxpayers are gonna have.
But just what you said, Mario, and I'll leave it with this again, that's basically opposition. We don't want to hear that.
Thank you. Any questions on Fatima? Okay, thank you. Item number 18, resignation letter. Received letter of resignation to be accepted with regret from Wendy Regan from Planning Board and the Board of Canvassers. Do I have a motion to accept the letter of resignation?
So moved.
Motion been made by Councilman Bacala. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Pollock. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 19, board appointments, town council discussion and action with regard to appointments to be made to the following boards. A, reappointments, Board of Tax Review, Doris White, alternate. Do I have a motion to reappoint Doris White?
So moved.
Motion been made by Councilman Bacala, seconded by Councilman Di Lorenzo. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. And new appointment, A, Board of Canvassers, Stephen M. Andriozzi. Do I have a motion to appoint Stephen Andriozzi?
Second.
Motion been made by Councilman Di Lorenzo, seconded by Councilman Laportio. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 20, poll locations, discussion and possible vote with regard to approval by the town council with regard to a poll location on Smithfield Road. Do I have a motion to approve the poll location? You all have it in front of you.
So moved.
Motion been made by Councilman Famagetti. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman McCullough. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 21, claim submitted, town council discussion and possible vote with regard to claim received from the following: Albert Trombetti, 12 Hillview Drive, North Providence, Rhode Island, 02904. Do I have a motion to move this to the claims committee?
So moved.
Motion been made by Councilman Bacala, seconded by Councilman Famagetti. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Back to the beginning. Item number 1, acceptance of meeting minutes. We have a motion to approve the discussion and possible vote and action with regard to the acceptance of meeting minutes from the meetings of March 4th, 2025.
So moved.
Motion been made by Councilman Bacala, seconded by Councilman Laportio. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. Proposed ordinances. Notice was given of a public hearing on this day whereby the town council would consider passage of the following proposed ordinances. Item number 2, 25-003. An ordinance amending Chapter 19, Article 10, Section 19-30 of the Code of Ordinances of the Town of North Providence entitled No Parking Generally to provide for certain parking restrictions on Red Fern Street. We have a motion to pass ordinance 25-003.
So moved.
Motion been made by Councilman Famagetti, seconded by Councilman Laforgio. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 3, ordinance 25-004. An ordinance of the Town of North Providence amending the compensation of the municipal court judge and the associate municipal court judge pursuant to 26-1-6 of the town charter. Do I have a motion to pass ordinance 25-004?
So moved.
Motion been made by Councilman Bocala, seconded by Councilman Pollock. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. And item number 4, ordinance 25-005, an ordinance amending sections 13-81 and 13-82 of the Town of North Providence Code of Ordinances related to fire alarm boxes. We have a motion to pass ordinance 25-005.
So moved.
Second.
That was a motion made by Councilman Pollock, seconded by
Second.
Councilman Martone. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Second, motion been made, second it. Meeting adjourned.